Well, this is a real pleasure for me today to be able to have a chat with you about your coaching.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
Thank you so much for
My
agreeing to do this,
pleasure.
because I know it's not that easy because we go on such a journey with coaching, but I really feel these notes from people who've been through it really help people, and hopefully lots of people will get lots of tips for their own success in the future.
Wonderful.
So, welcome, Lucy Freeman, and please tell me a little bit about what you do to start with.
Well, I trained as a dispensing optician about 25 years ago now. Started my journey for a couple of multiples back in the younger days. And then I joined Classic Eyes back in 2002, I think, so a long time ago. So I worked alongside a South African gentleman by the name of Craig Wilcox, and he really coached me into a place of becoming a partner about 10 years ago. So yeah, my journey of being a kind of practice manager and a business owner started a little while ago. And then Craig left the practice about 2 years ago now. So I find myself in the helm um, and in unventured territory, to be frank.
Yes,
So my job
yeah.
role changed really from dispensing frames and lenses, advising people on what spectacles they should wear, to looking at profit and loss, paying salaries, HR, all of those joyful things. So yeah, it's been a bit of a learning curve for me in the last 2 years. And because really my skill set was more practical, hands-on, dispensing, working with patients, I really did feel I needed a little bit of a boost on how to manage a team, how to lead a team, how to be a business owner, and the challenges that come with that, really, which is how we found
How
you.
we met, yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, when we first started, I mean, there's so many things that we could share about the journey. But I think when we first started, one of the things that I think a lot of people suffer from, if not all the time, then at least some of the time, is this so-called imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
feeling where you're not quite good enough. And it's not true. We know it's not true, but also kind of why me, why not somebody else? It can come in many, many guises, but it's
Mm.
it's not good, and it's possible to get rid of it. So
It is.
how
Absolutely.
did it impact you, and how does it help now in terms of how you operate and the business growth, really?
I don't think I really realized how much it impacted me personally, and in terms of how the practice was developing. It really held me back, and it held back the growth of a lot of my team, to the extent, really, I would hold back from even giving presentations and training sessions, and I knew I had the knowledge, but just didn't think that anybody would be interested in what I had to say. In,
Which
it
is
it was it,
insane, but it's how you feel on the
is
inside that matters.
absolutely, and I think very early on we really realised I was very kinesthetic, and that I just had these feelings constantly that I would be disappointing somebody. How do I look at somebody else? How do they feel? How am I making them feel? Are they bored? Are they just disconnected from me? Are they thinking, oh, on earth, what on earth is she wearing? Stood there. Are they judging me?
So,
So
what
all
were the
these things.
changes like that we made in the coaching? What impact have they had? Were they difficult to do? Because,
No, no, they weren't from my perspective, because you were in charge. Uh, I'm sure there was a lot of years of knowledge going into getting rid of the imposter syndrome for me. But a simple exercise is having a morning mantra.
yes,
And actually, I carry that through my day. Whenever I feel a thought coming in or I'm starting to overthink, my mantra hits. Uh,
yeah.
the visualization exercises that we do, the 1 minute exercise that
Uh,
I do daily, just helps me to get in touch with the other senses rather than just how things are feeling. But the imposter syndrome, I realized quite quickly that actually I am the best person for this job right now.
Yeah.
Who else is there that could lead Classic Eyes in its current position and knows the practices better than I do and the team better than I do, than me? So actually, there is no one better for the position than me.
Yeah.
I think as soon as that mindset hit, it became quite easy.
Yes.
And I
Lots
just
of things changed, didn't they? And I remember
absolutely
you hadn't been in for an award before, and I said,
no.
"Yeah, I think I'd like to go and get this award." Now, I like this part because it covers so many things. And we approached it the same way as we did all the goals. And
Yeah.
these are the stages that anyone can do. It's step into the future as if you have it now.
Mm.
Look out for your own eyes. And this doesn't matter if it's for the very big vision you have or the next award or the daily tasks. You can
Yeah.
use it for everything, but step in
Mm.
as if you have it now. Look out for your own eyes. And I said to you, imagine you've got the award in your hand, celebrate like crazy. And we practiced that because it
We did.
works. We practiced being there, holding this award. And a lot of time and effort went into the award. And
Mm.
you asked me a question before the build up to it. Do you remember
I
what that
did.
was?
I did. I asked you how I would deal with disappointment.
Yeah.
If this vision didn't materialize, how would I manage that internally? So yes, that was my question.
For me, that was one of the best questions you could have asked because it made sure we covered that base prior to going to the award.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I said, now you've picked up something really good. We program in these goals. We're not going to get them all. It's next. We're not going to get them all, but also how you react in that moment. So you've gone to the awards dinner, you've
Yeah.
got some of the team with you. And what I said was, regardless of the outcome, celebrate like crazy as if you had won it.
We
You were like,
did.
what, why? How does that work? Now, that's really key. And never mind, because sometimes you program in one thing into the mind and
Yeah.
another thing comes about. And you looked at me rather puzzled, which is fair enough because you'd no experience of that. But I've seen this lots of times. You go for something, the thing you program in may not come about all the time. It does a lot, let's be clear, but something else might. So you said to me, you felt at the awards, you were runners up, which is fabulous.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
absolutely. We
I
we were
mean,
finalists. Yeah.
that is awesome. And you said to me you felt disappointed for a moment.
Oh, it was a millisecond. It the feeling of wanting to just celebrate the fact that we were there in this awesome House Hotel, Grosvenor Park Hotel in London, with some of my team. We were all dressed up. It was a five-course dinner. There were chandeliers. There were singing waiters. I mean, it was epic. And we were in a room full of the best in our industry. So it was an amazing weekend. And no, we didn't get up on the stage, but I did totally feel like we deserved to be there. And it wasn't our time. And you know, I felt that as soon as I walked in. I'm thinking, this isn't quite what I visualized. I didn't visualize my table being there. I didn't visualize sitting there. I didn't think this is what it was going to look like. So I think that helped a little bit in the not being disappointed, but certainly
Yeah.
it was literally for a millisecond.
But
Yeah.
it was such a great question because it's key to program the mind and know what
Mm.
to do about that kind of situation is constantly celebrate as if you've got it. Now, what happened a few weeks later?
So we attended what's called a retreat. So it's a weekend. It's basically hosted by our CEO and the group that we belong to. We're part of a group of independent practices across the country. It's about 500 of us now, and we celebrate our wins for the year. We listen to key speakers. We're motivated, and they have an awards ceremony. So on the Saturday evening, we have an award ceremony, and Classic Eyes won an award, which was very unexpected. But I just suddenly realized it wasn't our time in October, but it was our
Yeah,
time in December. So
yeah. And it came out of the blue.
it came
And
out of the
you
blue. Yeah.
certainly, I've got a little piece of video that you made, and it brings tears to my eyes every time I watch it, because you truly celebrated that. And I think if anybody can take away something, really appreciate whatever it is you get in the way of small and big wins. Just
Absolutely. And
keep appreciating.
Your
Oh, the
Friday
Friday
fives,
vibes.
yeah. Oh, they're epic. And I actually had a look back, Maggie, at the ones that I did initially when we very first started the coaching, and they were silly things, really. And when I look back at them now, things like, I mean, finding the bottom of my laundry basket was a win one week.
No, I
Yeah.
understood that. That for me
Yeah,
was
I
a
mean,
great win.
yeah, that is brilliant. But now I really do appreciate that there are bigger things, really, that I should be looking back on and really appreciating what I've done. So there's some real successes in there. And I definitely will be continuing that. My team do them. We do a Friday Fives. We have a huddle every Friday. We started to do Friday Five.
Oh, that's brilliant. No,
Yeah,
that's
asking us to
brilliant.
contribute.
Because so often what people do at the end of the week is they go home with an action list, usually of things that they haven't done yet. They
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
achieve
yeah.
this much in the week. Some things didn't get done. It happens to everybody. And then you go home sometimes with that sinking feeling. But if you go home having done the Friday Fives, you see how much you actually achieve.
Mm,
And I've been putting this into organizations and clients for years now. And it seems the simplest of techniques. And I keep sharing it with people because if people can get that uplift from that, I'm super
yeah,
happy. I think it's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Um, Again, there's so many things that we could talk about. One of the things I think would be well, there's two things really. It's the importance of having great sleep when you're working, and that affects so many people. I
Yeah,
have it as one of my top goals that I focus on, and I know I'm not alone in that, because if I can get a great night's sleep, everything goes well.
absolutely.
And that improved a bit, I think, didn't it?
It's improved vastly,
Mm.
vastly. I think I really underestimated the effects of cortisol on the body for a start. And also as a woman kind of racing through her 40s, we're inevitably heading towards the menopause. So I became really super conscious of the effects that putting things into my body was having on my hormones, and the effects of stress was having on my hormones. You put me in touch with Zana and her products, and I don't want to just endorse a particular product, but I have a combination of chill pills and magnesium now daily, and I take those with my usual supplements, and I can tell you my sleep. We were actually saying the other day, weren't we, that I actually now have to put a visualization in my head to get myself out of bed, because my sleep is so deep and so long. I could probably stay there all day
That
some days, and I actually had to
is just
visualize getting
brilliant.
out of bed so that I can wake with my alarm and get up. Um, so it has vastly improved, and really my energy levels as a result.
Yeah.
My I've got such a clearer mind than I used to have. I don't procrastinate as much.
Oh, that. Now just hold it there for a
Yeah.
second. So that clear mind is where all the coaching starts, actually, with that little technique to
Mm,
clear the mind, which I have shared on various social platforms, including LinkedIn. But that technique, clear the mind, but generally you have to keep at it
sure.
to get that clear mind, and
Yeah.
you just did it brilliantly. I have to say, there's one thing I always say to people when they come onto the coaching: yes, there's sessions involved in the program, and then there's homework. And I can tell you that the
Yeah.
people who do the homework and the practices that I recommend will get more out of it, and you certainly did the practices.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit like looking at something like a diet or a lifestyle change. It's
Mm,
exactly the same thing. If you're going to invest time and money in yourself, it needs to be for a long-term goal. I don't think there's a quick fix. I mean, some of the things that you have done for me have been fairly instant, but other things they need constant reviewing. You can't change your personality. So I'm always, if I let myself, I can always overthink. If I
Yeah.
let myself always be kind of kinesthetic, I could. So they are constant techniques I need to use. So
And
yeah,
I
there's
think the one thing is to keep that clear mind is a tip that everybody could take away is something I always say, which is grow the flowers and not the weeds. So watch what you're thinking about,
yeah,
because it's too easy to go down a kind of rabbit hole of thinking of a negative thing. It happens to all of us. Things happen.
yeah.
Um, and not focusing, dealing with them, yes, but not kind of running them over and over in the mind. And there are techniques to stop it. And that's what I'd love for everybody, really, is that they get that benefit, but you do need to practice
Sure.
them.
Yeah,
You've
definitely.
been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for
Oh, thank
sharing
you.
this with us. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from the hints and the tips and seeing what a coaching journey is like. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maggie. And yeah, hopefully we'll meet again in a coaching session. We'll keep them up.
I'm sure we will. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.